What's in this box is something I've always wanted to see. And now it's here. And now you get to see it too. The Corsair HS65 gaming headset features Dolby 7.1 surround, SonarWorks Sound ID for customized audio tastes, on-ear volume controls for easy adjustment, and leatherette memory foam ear cups for fatigue-free long-term gaming sessions. To see the full feature list of the Corsair HS65 gaming headset, follow the link in the description below. Man, as if the clickbait titles weren't enough, I'm now giving you clickbait intros. Also too, if you're not aware of our giveaway, we got a pretty amazing one going on. Who wants $5,000 to build the dream PC? There's a link down below. You guys can check that out. Anyway, this right here is a laptop. Hold on! Don't click off yet. I don't care about laptops. Laptops are so dumb. This laptop right here is made by Electronics, a brand that we've talked about in the past. You still have your Electronics 15-inch, right? Yeah. Ladies. I mean, people. But this right here, it's truly designed to be a uncompromising desktop replacement. Yes, all things we've heard in the past. However, what Electronics has done here is they have taken the absolute top tier crap that you can possibly put in a laptop. Whoops. We got headphones, we got a mouse. Electronics really likes to add stuff. I believe this is gonna be, the large mouse mat. Yeah, it is. They like to give you a bunch of extra stuff. But what this is, top tier products, 3080 Ti laptop edition, high-end CPU. I can't remember exactly which one is in here. We'll go through the specs. But it also features their liquid propulsion system. I'm well aware this is not the first time a company has made a laptop water cooler. But I will tell you right now that that project by the other brand, and you all know what brand that is probably. Holy moly, is that a big chungus. That brand doesn't make it anymore. They abandoned the idea, but this one is unique and different. So it is an Intel Core i9-12900H. It's an NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics processor. This one has a 3080 Ti. It's a 17-inch, 240 hertz, 1440p gaming display. A 99.8 watt-hour battery, so the biggest that you can pretty much bring on a plane. It's got a glass touchpad, cherry brown mechanical switches, right? So you see what I'm getting at here so far in the specs department. So this is the Mech 17 GP from Electronics. What this will allow us to do is to have a single, the laptop itself is actually not that heavy. If you guys remember the other brand's solution, it was a huge, thick tape. It was like thin at where the keyboard is and thick at the back. So it had like this massive like wedge shape to it. I mean, this one's got a little bit of a wedge shape too, but it's not as bad. Cooler, which was absolutely ridiculously heavy. It had big barbs that stuck out the back and you had to like load it in and click it down, and then it would make contacts with like quick disconnects and such. This one, you can get just the laptop, if you want just the laptop. And then you get the LPP G1, which is the liquid propulsion package, which then allows you to water cool this later or separately if you want to. Now, why would anyone want to water cool a laptop? The inherent problem with laptops is like 2 or 3-fold. One, it's a lot of heat to try and maintain. And we all know heat kills clocks and products, but laptops are designed to work within a certain temperature range. That temperature range is obviously higher than that of a desktop because you have such limited cooling capacity. I mean, you got all these vents on the bottom here. They've got fans that'll turn and bring air in, but you have a limited amount of cooling that you can deal with in terms of how you can scale that up and keep things cool. As you pack more cores, as you pack higher end GPUs, even SSDs, those all give off heat, which means that the hotter it gets, the more it slows down. And that's where the liquid propulsion comes in, because once you start getting water flowing through things, water has a much higher efficiency of thermal transfer rate, which means that you can keep those clocks down, or excuse me, the temperatures down, which keeps the clocks up. The other thing too is the way the logic works with those boost algorithms, it's not just temperature related, but it's also power draw related. This guy right here, this liquid propulsion laptop, the Mech 17 GP, is designed to push the limits. It is basically touted as being the fastest laptop on the planet right now, specifically because of liquid propulsion keeping the clocks up, which means the idea here is that you could have this one unit that is quite literally a desktop replacement that you can actually carry that power around with you. So if you were traveling, professional, you may have a desktop at home and then you may have a laptop, and then your laptop always has some sort of compromises. This is an idea here where you could have your laptop plugged into additional monitors, whether it be through Thunderbolt or a hub or something, the liquid propulsion package, and then you gotta go, you unhook it, off you go. Everything goes with you. You're not having to try and deal with either VPNing into that machine or having two different setups and then, oh crap, I left those files at home. And if you don't have some sort of a remote system or remote in, you can't get them. I only bring those situations up because I lived that life for a long time. And so anyway, here's the laptop right here. Mechanical keyboard. Enhance. You have to do it. It's obligatory. You have to. Actually feels really nice. Holy crap, it sounds good too. The thing I love about this, and I've lived this life before, Nick was actually with me during the initial Threadripper launch event. I'd have him take notes on his laptop, because while we were sitting there in the keynote and everyone was like typing on their little, sounded like little stenographer keys or just like soft touch, and I look and everyone's like, sorry about your penis, bro. It was a giant Razer laptop anyway. So yeah, I ended up having to have Nick take all the notes because I swear to God, it was. So maybe this might not be the best keyboard for, business meetings and or class, if you're in class taking. Tubes, which have quick disconnects on them already. You know what's funny about this is not much bigger than like a modem. Like if you have like Spectrum or whatever and you get the modem that comes with it, it's about the same size. In fact, it would even blend in on your desk very nicely to look like a modem. That's kind of nuts. All right, let's take a look at the tubing, because there's gonna be a little bit of bleeding that's gonna have to take place too, because there's air in these tubes, obviously, so. I wanna take a look at this. This is a little bitty funnel. Oh, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So this is just the drain. This is designed to allow you to be able to get the coolant out of there. The quick disconnect actually pushes directly on to that. Those are attached to the pump and exchanger. It's probably just a 120 exchanger in there. And then this is spring loaded. So you can just pop that off like that when you're ready to go. There's a couple different ways I want to do this. I want to test performance, and we'll just be testing like Port Royal. Because honestly, I personally, and we'll do Cinebench, because the CPU as well. And then we'll be comparing it to, I have another laptop right here that also has a 12900H and a 3080 Ti. So we can directly see the type of benefit that we get by going with this guy right here. All right, right now I'd give this kind of a 6, because I don't know, this would scare anybody. It truly is acting like it's still attached right here somewhere. I don't think there's a through screw on going through the laptop or something. All right, I'm not gonna tempt fate here and damage it. So I'm not gonna give the best score in terms of serviceability, just because of the clips being that tight. Unless I'm straight up missing something here, I'm worried about damaging clips. Spec it the way you want it, unless you're gonna go digging in it. Now you might be asking yourself, Jay, with that power logic and allowing it to boost longer and stuff, you forgot to put a screw in. Nick, I need the screwdriver back. So you might be asking yourself, well, Jay, if it's supposed to boost longer and all that sort of stuff with the fingerprints everywhere, what kind of brick does it take? It's a big one. It's also from Chickeny, or however you pronounce that. This is a 330 watt power brick. Remember when I was like 280? Oh my God, 330 watts. We are like starting to approach where like a low end PC would actually be a full system power draw if you had like a 1660 in there and like a, modest like 4-core 8-thread CPU. This laptop would absolutely destroy any of those systems, to be honest. But let's go and get it set up here. We've got to get some baseline numbers, or we cannot even begin to compare, scores and stuff reliably. So let's get this set up, and let's get the our other high performance laptop set up. So we've got the electronics on the left and the Origin on the right. They're the exact same spec in terms of systems. It's funny too, they're both Tongfang ODMs, so even the dashboards look the same, they're just skin different, obviously. So this is about as close as a comparison as we could get to the cooling system to something that's thinner. And so keep in mind that the thickness of this laptop here obviously allows for better cooling than the thin one, but that's kind of what you're going for here. So if we look at device information, i9 12900H, 2500 megahertz, 14 core, 20 logical threads, 3080 Ti laptop, 32 gigs of RAM, and then storage, right? So if we go over here, 12900H, 2500 megahertz, 14 core, 20 logical threads, 3080 Ti laptop, 32 gigs of RAM. In terms of idle temps and stuff, and of course they're gonna bounce around usage because background tasks. This sits so much warmer. Both of them had the performance button pushed, so we're giving them advantage of just letting the fans wrap up faster. Look at that, 59C, 62C at 8%, 61, 60. Look at this one over here. 48C is sitting here at 2%. It will jump up, although this one seems to be doing less background tasks, which is interesting because they're both the exact same version of Windows. They both are completely bloatware free. It's just this dashboard that comes with it. All of that makes sense because of the thickness difference, which means more ventilation, thicker heat sinks. So what we need to do now is we need to load up Cinebench and we need to put the CPUs under some serious load. Let's see how these compare. And the only thing that's gonna keep one from beating the other is gonna be thermals at this point. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. $86C, $95C on that one immediately. 94. This one's actually cooler. How interesting is that? 17,672 with some thermal throttling probably involved. 15,217. 17,672 hotter. 15,217. I'm wondering too if because of the cooler being bigger, if it's allowing some additional boost time and temperature. So now that they've got a little bit of heat in there, let's do it again. So it's obvious now the electronics is allowing in the logic, because remember the SI can choose what the P1 and P2 clocks are, and it's obvious that they're choosing higher clocks over here. Yeah, 94C instantly 95, so it's bumping against throttle, which is why the red CPU temperature warning, you just can't see it because it's off the screen. Yeah, this one's clearly not going as far. What I'm looking at here is how far did this drop? Is it gonna stay in the 17,600 range or is it gonna drop run after run? And then this is gonna presumably only get better with the water installed. What a weird phrase, install water.
Yeah, you're gonna install the water.
Yeah, that 18,330, how'd we gain 700 points? This went from a 15,200 to a 15,095. So it went down and it went up. Wait a minute here, 1, 2, 3. 18,341, holy crap. It just continues to hover now at a higher score. I'm just running it again. Look, I got the next test started before this one finished. 15,066. So this one landed a little bit lower, but now it seems like we're more consistent at that lower score, where this one increased from a 17,000, 500 or whatever it was, to an 18,341, 18,124. Okay, so it's above 18,000 after 4 runs. This one's like, please, I'm hurrying. I can do it. 14,869. Again, do you want thin and light? Or do you want thick and beefy?
What are we talking about?
What do you want it to be about? Now remember, we haven't even put water in this yet. So the idea now is if the water can keep that under 95, then there's more headroom for the clock, which means then we might hit a 19,000 plus. Okay, we need to do some 3080 testing. So while that run's finishing up, I'm preparing this for install. These are hand tight, they're plastic, don't use tools, just go till they stop, they seal through O-rings. You take the cover out right here, you put your little funnel in there. It's got a little bleed hole next to it so air can make its way out. These need to be on before you fill it, otherwise it'll just come pissing right out of those barbs because they're not quick disconnect on this end. Plug this into the back of the laptop, fill it, power it, and you can fill the laptop with the laptop on, although you could do it with it on if you wanted. You're gonna hear gurgling and stuff, you'll have to top it off. This also powers the laptop. So when this is plugged, hey, look at that. A 7,511 versus a 7,959. So this one here, if you look at the score, landed square in the middle of average. Average is 7502, this score is a 7511, it's just right in the center. If you look here, the 7959 bumps us out of there and puts us into this like elite category right there. So again, the cooling system on the thicker air-cooled version of this is obviously doing its job. But what I started to say is that you plug this into the wall, this powers the laptop with pass-through, which is awesome. But before we hook this thing up and actually show you guys its performance, it's time to give you guys today's video secret code, and that is code IWANT. Letter I, W-A-N-T, all one word. Because you know you not only want the giveaway, you probably want this. This isn't being given away though. All right, back to the video. So you can see I've got the power going to this. This is plugged into the back of the laptop, and we need to plug in the tubes. So now we need to fill up the unit with water. Whoop. Okay, that's full. Whoopsies. Nothing like a bunch of water just hanging around a bunch of electricity. So once you're ready to use it, you go to Performance, you go to Liquid Propulsion Package Control, and it even gives you a guide of how to set it up, which is pretty awesome here. Fill it up. And then this is actually Bluetooth controlled. So this control, the laptop's gonna control that based on its needs. It'll ramp up the pump or ramp up the fan or however it works in there. We've got all this ready to go. There we go. It is full, it is running. Holy cow, has all the heat like coming out of the case just disappeared. They do say in the manual that whenever you do the quick disconnect, you're supposed to use the drain plugs and drain the water out of the pipes. It's probably a good idea to never leave water just sitting stagnant in a system anyway. So the heat on the little liquid propulsion unit is warm, so it's doing its job. But one thing I noticed is the system fans are obviously running a lot slower because they're tied to the actual temperature of the products, or the components. It's like dead silent. So what I want to do is after this run, I want to run Cinebench. Actually, I don't need to do Cinebench. I want to run this with the system fans on high. If we're like, screw noise, we want maximum cooling, I'm curious as to if, because those heat sinks are still tied to those components. There's just liquid running through them now. I have to assume, because there is still some warmth coming out of these vents because it's under load, is it going to assist in the cooling? I'm curious. 8,207. Here's the thing, that may not seem like a huge jump. To get an extra 50 to 100 points alone in Port Royal is hard. It takes a lot of average FPS to really bring the score up. Okay, 8228, the 3070 FE. This just matched the 3070 FE desktop card. 8194. So it didn't really change. I'm not feeling like, I mean, it dropped a few points. I'm not feeling like necessarily that overclock is like truly applying. It was 18,003 something, I think. Phil can put it on screen because he has it there. I'd say that's working. A 19,921. So Phil predicted 20,000. I said, no, we'll probably hit 19. Almost 20,000 on there. So we were 19,9 something, we were 19,884 on that second one, we're 19,963. So freaking close. Oh. These both had virus threat protection on, which we always turn this stuff off in benchmark mode. This might do it. 20,174 by turning off the stupid 20,174 on a laptop. And please don't misconstrue this as going, this one's bad. It's not. It's performing exactly as the laptop was designed to perform. It's just, this is what happens when you add a fairly simple solution to it, just having some quick disconnect tubes and an external reservoir pump and fan built into it. 14,739. Yeah. All right, well, there you go. Electronics. Like, I've talked to William, the founder of the company, quite a bit in the past. We've done some electronics reviews. Phil has an electronics 15-inch, the Mag 15. I've got the Mag 17. They're enthusiasts. They love what they do. And that really reflects in the ways that they're trying to push the boundaries. Yes, these are Tom Fang like ODMs, but they're adding as much as they can to the user experience, especially if you're into overclocking, water cooling, and you want a true desktop replacement that allows you to. This would be the perfect thing for someone in school. Maybe not the clicky keyboard. I wish there was a silent version, honestly. Maybe some switch choices, because that's not gonna cut it in class. I bet you're gonna get in trouble. Someone's gonna tell you, like your teacher's gonna be like, that's super distracting. Especially in the world of MacBooks everywhere in school. But This would truly allow you to have all your performance at home, and then you can take it with you. And you see even the air-cooled design on here, you don't give up a lot. So anyway, huge thanks to Electronics for sending this to us to check out. So I asked William, I was like, what do you want us to do with it? And he said, I want you to review the crap out of it, test it, put it through its paces, and like rip it apart. If you think it's crap, say it's crap. The only thing I personally am not a fan of is the keyboard. I love the way it feels personally. I'm only thinking about how noisy it could be in the situation of quiet environment. If you're in a library, if you're at Starbucks, I mean, maybe screw Starbucks, it's not that loud there, or that quiet. But if you're in class, if you're in a meeting at work, this keyboard could be a problem. I think other keyboard switch types would be nice to choose from, something more silent. Other than that, man, this is everything I've always wanted in a laptop. And it's cold, it's like cold to the touch. Anyway, wanna see something cool here? Check this out. Let's say you need to be off and on your way. I guess we should at least demonstrate this part real quick. We bring up the control center. We go to performance, we go to liquid propulsion, and we say disconnect. Yep, it's off. We can push the power button, that's off. We can unplug that. We can just squeeze that. Check that out. Not even a drop of water came out of there. And we are now taking that performance with us. That's exactly where I'm going.